Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Have you ever had one of those friends that everyone said was bad news or trouble? Were you that person? In your group of friends, were you bad news or trouble? I found out today that a friend of mine who was quite influential in my life and a huge portion of my life too, 25, 26, 27 until 35, 36, 10 years. 10 years of chaos. This man always showed up when I needed him the most. It was weird. I've talked about my past numerous times. And I honestly believe that you should never be a prisoner of your past. This is something that I've taught and preached a long time. Because why? Why sit here today beating yourself up for what was, when the only reason you could possibly beat yourself up for something that you did in your past was because you learned from it? And you understood that you shouldn't have done it, or that it was a momentary piece of teaching. Because there's a million pieces of your past that you don't remember. There's a million pieces of your past that aren't inside your brain. Like the shit that we remember about our past, 90% of it is bad and we feel guilty or whatever it is. And 10% of it is fond memories that we almost feel guilty for having. And if you ask me, that's a trap and a trick and a ploy. This existence is so convoluted to me on so many levels that I don't even know the levels in which I find it convoluted upon. But it gets me. I see through the third dimensional offerings. I see through the bullshit. I see through the fear. I see through the propaganda. I see through all of it, but I don't know what I'm looking for. And that's a piece of confusion. I see through the tripe. I see through the fact that Hollywood is a message board, that the music industry is a message board, that by constant repetition of influence, you become a certain entity, style, life, or way. I understand that people are a result of their past, and your life is indicative of how you were raised. All of your traumas, all of your joys, all of your successes, and all of your failures. I understand that some things are in our control and some things are out of our control. I understand that we have this idea of who we are based on what we've been through. I also have this idea that there is a giant force causing division in every aspect of everything. There's a meme going around right now where it says, they're asking women, would you rather spend time in the forest with a bear or with a man? And you're seeing all of these, how do I say, without creating more division? You're seeing a select group of females state that they'd rather be in the forest with a bear than with a man. Now, here's an interesting layer of the division. Men are right now being painted as evil, I understand. And we're glossing over all kinds of things, but right now the general consensus is division between man and woman, division between the family unit, division between healthy, holistic prosperity, division between health and wellness. Right? It's scare tactics, it's fear, it's what's going on. Now take that same poll for what they ran before with regards to openness and acceptance and everybody has a say and everybody is welcome. You ask those same women, would you rather spend the night in a forest with a bear or with a black man? And the tune will have to change. This is a sociological operation, right? Because if they say a bear, then all of a sudden they're racist based on their upbringing. But the man in general could have been any man. So it's okay to hate any man, but it's absolutely not okay to be non-inclusive in your hate. I'm bringing this up and I'm saying this because there's layers to the deception, and every single person is falling for every single layer of the deception on an external level. So if you're going to focus on the deception, if you're going to focus on man versus bear, or white man versus black man, or Ukrainian versus Russian, or Taiwan versus America. Oh, I just spiked. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm using my travel gear, so it may sound a little bit different. I apologize if we're not up to snuff on your standard sound quality. Division is a gnarly tactic on the ultimate surface level. But the layers of division seep into so many other things. We sit here and we ponder, are we good enough? Are we capable of? And we're so quick to point the finger at all of the people out there. And we're so quick to say that these people will be and do and say a certain thing, but we never stop to think about ourselves. We're not allowed to think about ourselves too, because that's another point of division. If you focus on you, you're being selfish. If you don't get the shot, you're killing grandma. It's all precise manipulation. Every ounce of influence is precise manipulation. For who and for what? I don't know. To help us understand and become aware? Absolutely. Because the more chaos and absurdity you throw at something, the more you're bound to see something. I'm saying this. I'm on this particular tangent because this stuff is the divide. This stuff is the shit that permeates inside your soul. The crap that you see on social media, the crap that you see on the media, on the television, legacy media, the crap that you see everywhere is breeding this divide. And we're even pre-programmed to hunt down the conflict. It's almost like we want to see other people be in conflict so that we feel better about our own station, position, situation. I don't know exactly, but we're being tricked. We're fucking being waterboarded at a very deep-rooted psychological level, right down in the deep psyche of our own brains and bodies. We're being tricked. This leads to anxiety and to depression, and what comes from anxiety and depression? Often abuse, often alcohol abuse, often self-hate. My friend I spoke of at the beginning of the episode, Big Nicky. This man was an absolute maniac. This man was cunning, charming, suave, debonair, larger than life. And I mean that both physically and aurically, if that's a word. 6'5", 380 pounds. When he smoked, he smoked. When he drank, he drank. There was energy and chaos everywhere. And if you could ride that ride, it was magic. He was around. He was in and out of my life for the better part of 10 years. And then gone. I said to myself one day, I said, I gotta quit drinking. I gotta quit doing the drugs. I gotta quit being this version of me because it's not helping. I've got to quit sales. I've got to quit teaching people how to sell. Sales coaching had to go. I was losing it. But Nikki would always show up, especially around when I was 25, 26, 27, 28, late 20s, early 30s. When I was at my lowest, and boy, was I ever at my lowest, there were so many nights where I was just so utterly depressed and suicidal. And he'd just pop up like a goddamn guardian angel. And it was the weirdest thing, because this guy, is the epitome of the saying, well, better the devil you know. Like, this guy was crazy. Fucking crazy. But again, he had a heart of gold. He would bend over backwards for you. He'd give you the shirt off his back and then punch you in the face. Wild. And then you have to ask yourself, what caused the man to be that way? If people want to paint him with a bad brush, why was he that way? What was his upbringing like? What was his story like? Where did he come from? Was he in the Catholic Church? We don't know anyone's true story. We don't know anyone's origins. We only know what people are willing to share and tell you. But you can see a man inside his action. This is one of the only few people that I ever knew in my entire life that, as an energy reader myself, I see certain things in people. And this man, if the definition of bipolar was through an energetic sign, he was the only person I'd ever seen who could flip his core color. When you can go from bright orange to black, it's pretty crazy. Then you have to ask yourself the two sides of anyone. Do we have control over this? Do we have control over that? Who knows? I remember numerous times with Big Nicky doing some of the craziest things and doing some of the most wonderful things and helping some of the most wonderful people. And I remember the other side of things. I remember, as I sit here right now, there's a lot of stuff I think to myself, can I talk about that? Should I talk about that? And no, what's in the past is in the past. And there's no shame. There's no shame for it. I was never a part of anything that was out of control. Was I a part of things that were illegal? Absolutely. But what is legal? Legal is just the system oppressing you. For the most part, legalities. Obviously, the 10 Commandments stand true, right? But the laws that they put in front of us, we want to think that they're for our benefit, but they're really to keep us dumbed down. And when you can see past certain things and when you can get past certain things, you can see the absurdity in certain laws and how they're just control systems and control mechanisms. So you might as well bend the rules. Think about every single police officer. Every single police officer that ever existed in this world right now is either corrupt or aware of who the corrupt cops are and do nothing about it. So those laws that we're so afraid to break are broken every single day by those who swore to uphold them. The police aren't your friend. And this isn't a bash the cops episode. This is just an awakening, a reality, a truth. It's not to say go around and be an asshole to anybody around you. No, 100% live your life with integrity. Go through the shit that you have to go through. Become the person you need to become. Understand where you are in this world, in this realm, in this reality. But ask questions at every step of the way. Question everything that you know as you're progressing through. Every single one of your core beliefs needs to be questioned for you to understand who you are. So this morning, a friend of mine, again from my past, reaches out to me. It wasn't even this morning. This was a few months ago. He reached out to me, and it went into my spam filter. It's unfortunate. I should check that more often, but something this morning just told me to check the spam filter, so I did. And there was a message. And he says to me, have you heard about Big Nicky? And immediately I thought to myself, what's he done now? Is he in jail again? Where is he? This was months ago. So I reached back out and I said, hey, sorry, I'm just seeing this now. What's he done this time? Where is he now? Yeah, Big Nicky didn't make it. 45 years old. Died December 23rd. 2 days before Christmas. He's got twin daughters and a wife. Live fast, die young was absolutely Nicky's motto. He was absurd. He was crazy. This man was the most lively giant you've ever met. To make him a character on, to compare him to a character on TV, he was Tony Soprano. He was James Gandolfini through and through. Man with a heart of gold and quite a few demons. It really rocked me to hear the news today. It rocked me more than I thought. It took me aback for sure. To hear that this man, this invincible giant, was taken down by his vices. They said heart attack. So anything other than heart attack is just me speculating. But I do know the man was under high stress a lot of the time. I do know the man had a penchant for a certain brand of extracurricular activities. I do know that there's high stress around Christmas season. And I think to myself, is this man a victim of society? Is this man a victim of the division that they've put on us at so many levels? When you're conflicted so much and when you're divided so much, you lose sight of who and what you are. Or you become the label. You live in this divisive mindset where you don't understand or you don't get a firm grasp on yourself. And when a distraction like money isn't necessarily a focal point to keep you sort of lined up, because when it's easy come, easy go, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars one way or the other, anything can happen. Reality isn't what you think it is. My reality isn't what you can perceive it to be. Therefore, Big Nicky's reality isn't what I can perceive it to be. All I can see out of Big Nicky's reality is me, right? And all I can say about him, and all anyone can say about him, is what they would do with his potential. How their life would play out if they see him and they see what his opportunities are. How they would handle it. And they think that this is a waste or this is a thing. Nicky often talked about going early. He often said, I party too much. I party too hard. Like, I never know if I'm going to wake up in the morning. And I've seen this guy go for days. You just never think it's going to happen. Or you just assume that you build up a tolerance or you do something. What is this episode about even? Is it about don't do drugs? Is it about, keep your shit together? Is it about don't beat yourself up over the past? I think it's about all of it. I also think it's about friendship. I think that it really fucking sucks that I lost a good friend. I think that it really fucking sucks that I lost a good friend over fucking drugs. Over the desire to escape. Escape a world that's created on top of a world of absolute beauty. A fabrication, a bullshit fabrication of division, stress, pain, fear, anxiety, on top of what was created for us, on top of the world itself, on top of the absolute stunning beauty that is this reality. I didn't think I'd get this emotional. Fuck. Man, it sucks to lose someone. It sucks that we lost touch over who knows what. I heard it from my friend Frank. I haven't talked to Frank in years. Frank got out of the drugs, got out of the partying. These guys were in it way deeper than I was. Absolutely. But Frank, man, if you're listening to this, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you on kicking everything, on the new wife, on the new babies. Man, stay with it. Stay clean, stay awesome, stay positive, stay sober. This isn't a sobriety episode. Do what you got to do. Live your life. But understand that we're being tricked. We're being manipulated. We're being brainwashed into believing shit's terrible when it's not. And to any one of you that's out there and in a similar position, in a similar situation, my email is adam@the Mental Mastery Alliance. The Instagram, send us a DM. You don't need to do drugs. You don't need to escape. Coming from a man who went through hell himself, honestly, the best thing you can do is face it head on, because there are people out there that love you more than you'll ever know. There are people out there that love you more than you can possibly love yourself at this moment in time. There are people out there that know you on levels that you don't even believe you can be seen on at this moment in time because of what you're doing to yourself, because of the situation that you find yourself in, whether it's drugs, drinking, alcohol, whatever it is. We came here to learn our lessons, not to check out early. Unless checking out early was our lesson, and you restart, because again, none of us know what death is. We've only ever experienced it secondhand, third hand. I don't know what that is. I can't put my finger on that. But I can say, from my experience, to be losing a friend, even though we haven't talked in years. I mean, you have them too. I have them right now. Friends I haven't spoken with in forever, but I'm always curious about. Where's your energy? Where's your soul? What are you up to? What are you doing? I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. Give me a call. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's say hello. So to Big Nicky and his family, I say, I love you, Big Nicky. I've always loved you. And all the bullshit that went down, I completely forgive you for. As I'm sure everybody does and did. And as chaotic and crazy as you were, your heart of gold rose above it. That goes for any other person in this situation. You are not a prisoner of your past. You can start today focusing on your future. You are not a prisoner of the division tactic that is beaten down upon us on every possible level. You can rise above that too. This world is truly beautiful when you allow it to be. When you work towards it, it may take some time, but that's what we're here for. We're here to overcome. Every single major light worker I know, every single person that's in a healing space has walked through hell, has walked through darkness. And honest to God, I believe Nicky would be one of those people too. I thought he'd get through it. And I thought he'd step in and start helping. This was a huge shock. is brutal. This one hurt. An emotional goodbye to a great friend, and hopefully a lesson to anyone listening. You're not in this alone. There are people right now partying because the drugs are fun. But then it gets darker. Then the drugs become mandatory. And the escape becomes the goal. And then the job, and then the mission. And if you're finding yourself in any of those positions and you want out, ask anyone in your life. The hardest thing that you can do right now is make that decision to just stop. Stopping is easy. I assured you. The hardest thing you'll ever do is make the decision to stop. It's all downhill from there. And if you need any help with that, and you've got no one to turn to, you have my email address. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. This one was an emotional one for me. I didn't expect it to be like that on camera or on film or on recording or whatever you want to call it. But it got me. Got me just talking about it. And it's gotten me all day. And it's been rough. Big Nicky, I love you, brother.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.